So I'm at the marina today, and as you can probably tell from the title of the vlog, we are selling the boat. And well, we've already sold it actually, so this isn't a shameless plug video. I'm just packing her up today and getting her ready to come out and go into dry dock and have her survey done. And I thought I'd kind of talk you through a little bit about our reasons behind selling her, because they are kind of personal and private. And then we've sold her privately without brokerage. And I thought I'd tell you kind of how and what we've done, in case you were, I don't know, thinking of selling a boat or even thinking of buying a boat privately. I'll just kind of give you my take on it. We bought her privately and we're selling her privately. So I'm probably going to waffle on about that. So I suppose let me start at the beginning. We've got some family issues rolling around at home, and our parents are not great, and we've got to do a little bit of caregiving at the moment, and that is looking like it's going to be for the foreseeable future. I think it means that Narrowboat Enchanted is going to sit in the marina for that time. I think that we are at the stage where we're possibly looking that we might be able to get up to her in the spring, maybe, but only for a couple of days, and maybe the same into the autumn next year. We are pretty much tag teaming at the moment, Ian and I. We're coming up kind of one-on-one to just kind of check the water levels and check that she's all right. And as I've said before, we're moored at Frouds, so we don't need to do any of those things. The guys here are absolutely fab, but we kind of, it's a little bit of escape to get up here for the day and potter around, but it's not something that we can do together or as our little family unit, because one of us always has to be on hand in case there's something wrong. So we've made the decision where she either sits in the marina for the next couple of years, and we might at most get 6 or 7 days on her across that time, maybe 10 at a push if we can sort out kind of alternative cover, or we have to take the plunge. So we're taking the plunge. We can't see another way around it at the moment. It's half a dozen of one and six of the other. If we keep her in the marina, we know the guys up here will absolutely take good care of her and look after her for us. But also knowing that she's here and we can't get up and enjoy her is like bloody sad. And then also the responsibility that I think, the guilt that we kind of feel when we're not on hand in case there's a problem, back home. It's been a hard decision to make, and it's not one we've made lightly. So we have listed her up for sale. We did think about brokerage, but to be honest, we kind of thought, I think we kind of hoped for a bit that something would maybe change, or our parents might magically get better, or things might perhaps not be as they were. So we put her up for sale trepidatiously, thinking that, if it's quiet, things might suddenly change and we might be able to change our minds. But and I think we've all done that. So as is often the case, that isn't what happened. Things have settled down, but there is an awful lot of running around and an awful lot of care that needs to be given, and that's absolutely fine, and we've had to make decisions in line with that. So we put her up for sale privately, and I suppose the state of the YouTube narrowboat community at the moment is that you're seeing a lot of boats go up for brokerage, and so I kind of thought I'd share our thoughts about buying privately and selling privately. So we bought her privately a couple of 3 years ago, and she was moored at the time at Greenham Marina, and she needed a little bit of work doing to her, interior wise, and we wanted her to pull her out for a survey. She needed a boat safety certificate at the time anyway, and the gentleman that we bought her from had lived aboard for a good couple of years while he was having his house built, and so he had been on the canals a good long time, and then had continuous cruised for a while, him and his wife, and they were lovely, really lovely people. And I always think that we were very lucky. I always think that we were very lucky to have our first experience with genuine canal people, because obviously I think there are not genuine canal people out there, as there are in all areas of life. When we decided, came on board, and I think I said in a couple of the videos I made at the beginning that we kind of had a list of things that we wanted, and Enchantia, I don't think it even hit half. But when we stepped on board, she just felt like home. So that was that, and I think that's the way it goes. So Joe down at Greenham put her out on dry dock for us, and the previous owner organised the survey, and we were all there for the day of the survey. There was a couple of things that cropped up on survey, just sort of exhaust and that kind of thing, that was fixed on the spot. Boat safety certificate was done on the spot. And I think that's my first kind of piece of advice, if you like, is if you're going to buy a boat privately, always, always, always have your whole survey. I know I've said this before, but now I'm saying it again. Definitely whack her out on dry dock and get her done. Make sure that she's got her boat safety certificate on her. Any kind of works that have been done, ask for receipts. And generally the person that you're buying from, have the conversation with them, see if they're knowledgeable, and see if, kind of like your gut feeling, if it sounds to you like she's been taken good care of, if the boat's been kind of well looked after, or at least well maintained. And you know, you can generally get a vibe off of people, can't you? So we deliberately looked for a boat that was continuous cruise ready. So those were the questions that we kind of had. We went looking for something with solar panels. We wanted something with a generator, and we got both of those things. And we were looking for a boat that was being continuously cruised. So definitely have in mind what it is that you're after, because if you're not after a continuous cruiser, you don't necessarily need all those extra bits and pieces that, one, require maintenance, and two, require learning how to use them if you're new to canal boating. So there's that. When it comes down to selling, if you're looking to sell your boat privately, that's what we've done. I'll put some links underneath. I'll put some links underneath. Obviously, we've sold her. We've sold our lovely girl. So the listing that I used, I don't believe it will stay live. I'll have a look. But what I will do is I wrote the listing out, and I will put that down below so that you can see kind of how I laid it out, what it had, you know, that kind of thing, and you can have a look. I also made a minute and a half video for YouTube that was a walkthrough, a complete walkthrough of the boat, and I put that on the listing. I put that up on my YouTube channel and made it unlisted, so I didn't want to kind of use my YouTube channel to feel like I was selling stuff, because I don't know. So yeah, I made it unlisted, and then I put the link for the unlisted video on the for sale app, I'll tell you, on the thing, so that people that were reading the for sale could go on and click the link, and they could do a walkthrough. Because obviously when it comes to buying narrowboats, if you don't live anywhere near the network, or if you are travelling and traversing the country looking for what you want, you can get a really good idea from, you know, a little walkthrough with a camera. And I think personally, and I hope that for, you know, anyone that is looking at boats, that in doing that you get a feeling that the person is a genuine seller with integrity. And that's one of the things I can say about the listing that I put together. I put absolutely everything on the listing. All the work that had been done, who it had been done by, where it had been done. I've got copies of all the receipts that had been done. She's still got her boat safety certificate on her. I made the whole survey widely available, so if people wanted it before they wanted to see her, they could see it, the good and the bad. She was blacked two years ago, so she's due for blacking in the summer. I put that on the listing. I also put on the listing a couple of local marinas, Greenham and Devizes. No, that's wrong. ABC and Devizes, and how much it would be to have her blacked, and that we'd reflected that in the price. I tried to be as absolutely as upfront as possible. I put as much information down there and put information on the bottom that she was continuous cruise ready, and the solar panels, put down about the solar panels and what kind of battery bank we've got on board and how much charge it holds and how many radiators there are, you know, all the stuff to save people looking through the listing and wondering and asking questions and basically wondering if you're trying to hide something. I think that's, and I kind of take the same attitude when we sell a car or when we buy a car, that if the information isn't there, I always tend to think that it's because they don't want to tell you, and there's not a bad reason for that. So when it comes to selling privately, my advice on that one would be to be as upfront as possible. Obviously, don't put all the negative things at the top of the listing and go, oh, she needs this doing, oh, she needs that doing, and da 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 da. Obviously, you start off with all the things that she has got and what makes her really valuable and why you love her so much. But also, I definitely made sure I put in there that boat safety and the hull survey, were available, but the blacking was done here, and now it needs doing now. So anybody that asked any questions, I tried to answer them all as fully as possible. And if they wanted any copies of documentation or anything like that, I made it available, you know, within data protection, safety, blah, which isn't really too much to be worried about, I think, with this kind of thing. When it comes to listing, I put her up on Facebook Marketplace and I put her up on Apollo Duck. Now, my personal opinion is that Facebook Marketplace has taken over from places like Free Ads and Gumtree and all that kind of thing. I think Gumtree is just a bit of a dumpster fire, to be honest. I did put it up on Free Ads and I did put it up on Gumtree. I put it everywhere all at once and then promptly took it down from Gumtree and Free Ads because it wasn't that it was time wasters for people that genuinely wanted a narrowboat and were trying to knock me down in price. It was actual real time wasters. Gumtree, I just seemed to get 50,000 emails from all over the world with people telling me that I had investments in foreign countries coming to fruition, and I just had to send them a check and then they'd send me £1 million. And Gumtree, that seems to be all I found. Maybe I'm doing something wrong with Gumtree, I don't know, but yeah, I'd steer clear if I was you. Free Ads, we had absolutely no response from at all. I think in this day and age, they're pretty much dead sites. Facebook Marketplace seems to be the place to go. I belong to a couple of narrowboat groups for the Kennet and Avon, which is where we are. And I put the listing up, shared the listing in there as well. I did check the admin rules on the group before I did it. And people said lots of lovely things about the boat, which is kind of nice. And when you're selling a boat, so like we're selling her, even though we know it's the right thing to do, it's still a bit of a wrench. It was actually really nice to chat to people who asked questions about the paintwork and the lights and how we'd done things and that kind of thing. So if that is something, if you are perhaps selling your boat and it's a bit of a wrench, that's a nice way to chat to other boaters or people that also don't have boats at the moment. And it's just nice. It keeps you involved in the community. Apollo Duck, I seen, is a marine boat selling. It sells every kind of boat, every kind of brand, every kind of everything. But it also has a section for narrowboats. It is a paid for advertising site, and I will put a link down below. Our most genuine inquiries seem to come from Apollo Duck. The people who were serious, that were asking what seemed to be all the right pertinent questions, were coming from Apollo Duck. The people coming through Facebook weren't time wasters per se, but the people, what we did is we booked viewings in slots. We did not make ourselves completely available and drop everything at the drop of a hat and race up here to accommodate people. We are an hour and a half away from the marina, and we are obviously coming into the autumn and we both work, and we don't want to be showing you around the boat in the dark. You need to be seeing it in the light, in our opinion. And I think that people that wanted to pressure us into, well, I'll come up at 7 o'clock on their own time schedule, were potentially, like, they were time wasters. So what we did is we very quickly set a parameter down where we booked slots across the weekend, and one of us would come up across the weekend, and we booked 2 hour slots. So we allowed a person 2 hours in case they were late, in case they couldn't find us, in case there was traffic, in case they asked all the questions. When we did book the slots, we had absolutely no intention of taking Enchantia out and giving them a cruise. That wasn't what it was. You were coming on board to look. We were quite upfront about that. We told people that we were booking time slots, that they did have 2 hours, and that if they were interested in talking about making an offer, then we would book them back in and take her out at that point then. I can tell you that obviously narrowboats are not cheap. They're in the thousands, and we still had people that didn't show up and didn't let us know. So, and we had people that made a lot of fuss about making sure they got the first booking of the day and then they didn't show, which seems bizarre to me. When anybody booked to view, we were quite clear about the fact that if you wanted a whole survey, which we thoroughly advised, that you were responsible for sorting that out, and that we would move the boat for you if you wanted us to, but within reason. So if you wanted to move the boat yourself, then obviously insurance and things like that would have been required, because she's still our vessel and the damage would reflect on us. We did not list her any earlier because we knew we were going to be able to get out on her for good chunks in August, which we did do. And it isn't lost on us that you shouldn't really sell a boat going into the winter. Obviously high summer and spring is the best time. It's when people are actively looking. But that didn't work for us because we wanted to make sure that we enjoyed her first, and spend a bit of time on her. And that was our choice. We went into it fully aware that putting her on in early September meant that we were up against it, and that we would potentially list her for a month, and if she didn't sell in that time, and it was mid-October at that point, our intention was, and potentially is, if this sale falls through, to take her off the market and pop her back in the marina for the winter, because it's all paid for, and we will just relist her in the early spring and do it that way. Today. And I'm packing up, as you can probably tell by the chaos going on behind me. I didn't realise how much we had on board for a start, and it's taken some emotional fortitude, that's for sure, because it's not necessarily a choice that we've come to lightly. So yeah, we're going to be running things backwards and forwards to the car, and I say it's just me today, and I'll kind of keep you updated as we go. So Narrowboat Enchantia has come out of the water, had a new name, and is now safely tucked up with her new owner, which is just lush. If you've got any questions about anything I've spoken about today, do leave me a comment down below, and I'll try and do my best to answer them. I'm still going to be making videos over here. You will get my spiritual videos and my writer videos as per usual, but also you're going to be getting day trip and road trip videos, because we're still going to be travelling about. We just won't be able to kind of do it at the slow pace that we were able to do before. We're going to have to squeeze more in a shorter time. So take care, lovely humans, and I'll see you all soon.